Hello guys, and today we're reviewing the latest chapter of One Piece for Clues, Cues and Reviews, chapter 8:10. Now, you know when you're having one of those days, work's busy, you're tired, you come home, you just want to relax, unwind, and you look on your phone or your computer, and you find your latest manga release has come out. Well, that was one of those days! Anyhow, for those, before we start, I think we're going to find out what happened with Sanji. Unfortunately, we're not going to find out in 2015. That's going to be something for 2016. What we do find out in this chapter is what the hell happened with this poisonous gas and what happened with Sanji's crew leading up to them arriving. In any case, we finally get to see, yes, we finally get to see the human form of Jack. But before we get into that, we just want to talk about the cover page. I was waiting for this for quite a while. As you can see, the cover story about the release of the news about Luffy getting 500 million and the rest of the pirate crew's bounties. Every chapter you get a cover page kind of linking that story, other than a few where the story diverts and you've got some fan requests and things like that. So we've been waiting for this cover page, the response of the Bartier when they find out Sanji's new bounty and his picture. So there's two things that I found funny in this one. One, everyone's laughing their asses off the fact that Sanji's got a bounty picture come out again, stupid as hell as usual. Has never taken a serious one yet. And they've got like a statue of him, which looks more like the fake Sanji than the real Sanji, and everyone's laughing their ass off. But it's important to point out that Zeph looked more concerned than he did finding it funny. So there is something there that maybe he knows something that he hasn't let everyone else know about. And I'm guessing that's something to do with the only alive part. But anyway, getting to the chapter now. So the first thing we see is the human form of the barbarian that is Jack the Drought. The reinforces his 1 billion bounty, and for those who've kind of noticed it in his mammoth form, he pretty much has the same hairstyle, bar a samurai knot, compared to Edward Weevil. Are they from the same lineage? Are they from the same tribe? It remains to be seen, but there's definitely some type of link there. Is that foreshadowing for the future reveal? I hope so. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So what pretty much happens is that they reveal his human form. Now the one thing that's definitely confirmed, that it's not Captain Morgan. It's too big to be Captain Morgan. He might have a similar type of grill that covers his jaw, but it's not him. The one thing that I did notice with that is his size. His size are very similar to the character that works under Eustace Captain Killer, very similar. Now, is this again foreshadowing for the idea that they're together or something like that, or is this just a coincidence? There's never really a coincidence in One Piece, but it was an interesting observation. So there's a conversation that happens, and something that the Nekomamushi says. He goes, "Oh, so you've had the elephant fruit. That's an interesting delicacy you've had there." What that shows you is maybe the whole Zo Island don't know about devil fruits per se, but definitely the two dukes do. I can imagine this is from their travels when they went together as pirates or on a ship when they met Shanks and so on and so forth. So it's interesting that he specifically mentioned that. So he, and I'd imagine the other duke, know about devil fruits, and that's probably from their travels. So what I was really excited about, what was really hyped about, is the fact that Nekomamushi actually said, "Look, Beppo, you're under my care, you do not need to get involved in this fight." Beppo goes, "No, I don't care if I'm a pirate, this is my home, these are my people, I'm ready to fight." And then we get the Clash of the Titans. Now everyone goes in. All of Beppo's pirate crew is there with him. All of Nekomamushi's crew, all of Jack's crew are there. Then it flashes back to that conversation with, and it's the Musketeer talking now, the one that's with the dog Duke, the Duke of the Day, and he explains. He goes, "Look, basically, the more we fought, more people came. It was like they had an army of zombies." Now, there's two things that I picked up from this that's quite important. A, the fact that he's got vast amount of underlings, the fact that reinforcements just kept coming and coming and coming, and zombies. Now, is this another foreshadowing? Is this a point referring to Gekko Mori, knowing that Kaido and Gekko Mori have had a past? We'll have to wait and see. Is there a coincidence? Like I said before, probably not. But just something I noticed. And also when they showed Jack's clothes resembled the type of clothes that people were wearing in Punk Hazard. Now again, coincidence? I think not. So the fight, they fought for literally 5 days, 5 nights on a trot, back to back. So you can imagine how much stamina Jack has, and even says that Jack, to call him a monster would be undervaluing how strong and how powerful Jack is. Now what this is a sort of hint to me, when you read between the lines and you think of the monster trio right now as they are, is kind of explaining, you know how they've been referred to as monsters, that this guy is another level. So that it kind of reinforces the point that maybe they're not ready for Jack, and maybe they're not even ready for Kaido. Now, how this, it expands, will they get more power, remains to be seen. But the fact that instead calling him a monster would not be enough kind of reinforces the point if you read between the lines. So, eventually, the fight stopped. But before that, they mentioned specifically, because they did not obviously win against us, but they didn't, we didn't win against them either, because the one person we could not push back was Jack. But then again, they didn't beat us either. So because eventually, day 5, they ran out of patience. Now, an interesting topic was, again, adding to the mystery in the myth that is Kaido. Now, the question Luffy asked was, why is such a powerful guy like Jack just an errand boy for Kaido? So that means he obviously sees the value of the strength that Jack has. He's not underestimating him, but it can add to your imagination the thought of how powerful Kaido is for somebody like Jack to be his underling, to be an errand boy, one of 3 people that are considered the 3 calamities. He's not the right hand man, he's just one of 3. Right? So, day 5, Jack runs out of patience, and the gas weapon takes over. And what they basically explain, is that it was over in an instant. They'd been fighting for 5 days and 5 nights, and on the 5th day, that was it. He released the gas attack and basically was over in a flash. So basically, the gas took over the whole town they were fighting in and half of the forest. So the only people that were really safe are those that seek refuge in the second half or the latter half of the forest. But then, when they were defeated so easily because of the gas, the strong ones, the ones who managed to survive, got it the worst. For a whole day, they were put on those spikes, the torture facilities, and they were tortured mercilessly, over and over, asked the same question: where the hell is Raizo? And naturally they didn't know. So what they bloody said was, we don't bloody know. And then at the end of that day, Jack left. And the reason why he left was because of news. So by Luffy defeating Doflamingo, by coincidence, it actually helped save the Mink Kingdom. That's why they're saviors. That's why they're considered the saviors. Not just Sanji's side, the whole crew. Because of Luffy's action, it had a ramification in the rest of the world, namely saving Zo. So Jack's heard this. He's gone to save Doflamingo. Whilst he's left Sheephead and a few of his other people they carried on the torture. They did what they did. The day he left, Sanji's crew arrived. Now it was an interesting point how they explained how they got to the top of Zo. A good person that pointed this out was Roger's base. So props out to Roger Bracey. He actually theorized that they used the gas fruit to become a hot air balloon, and they got to the top. So big shouts there. Now, when they got there, they'd obviously turned up on the back of the aftermath. They've turned up, and you know that little girl that was in, I believe it was 795 when they showed the Straw Hat Curly Pilots? There was a theory that Rogers based it with this one that he didn't quite get right, but then again it's a theory, you can easily get it wrong, where he thought it was a reindeer, and I didn't really see much people talk about this, but it turns out she was a squirrel. She was a squirrel girl, and Sheepshead was torturing her or going after her, and she was running for her life. It just happened to be the time when they arrived. Sanji went up ahead. He basically went to scout out the area. Brook stayed with Nami, as did Momonosuke, and effectively they intercepted this fight. And brilliant. I love that panel where Brook does his soul parade, freezes the water, Sheepshead falls on his ass. As you know, in 795, when they did go head to head, Sanji whooped Sheepshead's ass, put him in his place. So it shows the monster trio are above the underlings by far, easily, on the people that are under Jack. The gap between Jack and the underlings is a different story. So there is a big gap there. How the monster trio will fare against Jack is hard to say at this point, but in 2016 I'm sure we're going to find out. So moving past that, they eventually run into Pedro. Pedro's one of the guys that were tortured. We didn't really see him too much, but we did see his shadow when Luffy was first surrounded. And basically they said, you're lucky that it wasn't nightfall, and I explained why Pedro is one of the stronger dudes. So Pedro, after being tortured for 24 hours, practically on his deathbed, the first thing he actually said is, I can tell that you're not with Kaido's crew. Please, can you save the two Jukes? He did not care about himself. A selfless act. Reminds me of Zoro in a lot of ways. And he went and said, please save the Jukes. So with Chopper there, he did his business. I don't know how Caesar was involved, but they saved the Dukes, bandaged them up, and thankfully because of that they survived. Now the more recent conversation that's probably going to happen between Nekomamushi and Trafalgar Law hasn't happened yet. That will happen very soon. We don't know what happened with Caesar, because if they've just arrived after they've left, it doesn't explain where Caesar's gone. Because I thought maybe what happened is they arrived while the battle was going on, Caesar's left with them, and he's kind of betrayed everyone. That doesn't seem to be the case, but he isn't there now. Where has he gone? We won't know till the chapters are released. It doesn't explain why Sanji has left. I can only assume he's pursuing Jack. It could be a case that he found out Jack is going to Dressrosa, and he went back to Dressrosa to hopefully protect them. That's what I think has happened, because as a lot of people have kind of guessed it now, it does seem like Viola is going to be the one Sanji's going to end up with. And now they don't really do romance, but I can see that there is a link there. I can honestly see Sanji's bent back to Dressrosa to save her. How he's going about doing that, I don't know. Is he going to use Geppo the whole way? I'm not sure. Is he going to use the balloon technique of the gas fruit? I don't know. We're hopefully going to find out. Unfortunately, according to an article I read, One Piece should be on break next week, because a lot of them are break for Christmas, so it may not get a chapter next week, which as always is disappointing. But when it does come out, I'll be there, I'll be reviewing it. I hope you're there with me, watching, sharing, reviewing, commenting, whatever you need to do, subscribing if need be as well. I'm going to leave you with a few points that I find interesting. We know about Jack, we don't know if he's dead. We don't know about Sanji, and we don't know about what's happened to Caesar. That ultimately is fine. We have no idea what's going on with Dragon. One thing I'm looking forward to seeing in the next chapter, hopefully, is the reaction of Shanks. What's Shanks' thoughts on him becoming a 500 million bounty man? Now obviously him having a 500 million bounty sets a precedent in a certain way, but the fact that we've got 1 billion now often leads me to believe that that is the next milestone for the man that will become Pirate King. As you could imagine, previously a milestone that was set was his older brother. He hasn't quite surpassed that yet, but with him being the largest bounty at that time, I can only imagine that at some point we're going to get the 1 million bounty man being Luffy, and then potentially the remaining of the monster trio. Apologies if I've missed anything out. I made a few notes, but that's pretty much all I had for you today. Like always, please like, comment and subscribe, share with your friends. I try to do regular reviews on One Piece and a lot of other chapters. You will see more from me, so please like, comment and subscribe, and you'll get more from me. Cheers, take it easy, bye.